The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to give it another minute or so here. I see a lot of people hopping on and want to make sure we get everybody on here, and then we'll get going. Look forward to speaking with you here shortly. Feel free to throw messages in the chat or questions. We'll be answering those throughout, and we'll go ahead and get started now. So welcome, everybody. My name is Paisley Coxey. I am the general manager at Focus IT. I also work directly with a lot of customers, tons of interactions with the sales team, so constantly hearing the questions and seeing what you guys are looking for. I also have my team member Cassidy on the call. She's a member of our sales team. So we're just here to give an overview of what we've been hearing from some of the top realtors in the Phoenix market over the last couple of months and just share that information with you. Would love any questions you guys have, so feel free to throw those in along the way. And let's get started here. So back in June, we had originally reached out to 5 realtors in the Phoenix market to get their feedback on some topics we knew that our users were looking for. We've hosted a number of webinars this year, and there was just always tons of questions about how to build relationships with realtors. And then last month, we hosted a webinar where we actually had one of those realtors live on the call, 5 stars across the board realtor with ratings. So we felt like he was a good fit to just provide additional feedback. So what we've done today is really combined all of that feedback, what we've heard from all those people, and just want to share that with you guys. Before we get started here, I'd love to just kind of have an idea of who we have on the call. So if you want to share what loan origination system you're using, any marketing platforms you guys might be using to build relationships with realtors, just gives us a good idea of who we have on the call, and would appreciate any insight on that. Okay, I see people from different places. We've got some Encompass people in here, so great to see that information. Okay, I see some more coming in. Looks like we've got a lot of Encompass on here, which is great to see, a lot of Calyx. So thank you everybody for that. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we really wanted to highlight is just, again, that we've talked to these top 5 realtors the last couple of months. They've provided us a ton of great information, and it was interesting to hear these realtors say a lot of similar stuff. A lot of it was maybe a little different than what you find looking online. Just the market's different now than it was a year ago. So it was really great to hear their feedback, and excited to provide some of that feedback to you guys. So what are the basics to relationship building? This is pretty common across all realtors that we spoke with. And the first is be a human, not just a salesperson. I know that sounds simple, and probably all of you think that you're doing that when working with realtors, but it was a really common thing that they said. They said very rarely are they having loan officers approach them and they feel like they're approaching them as a human and not just a way to generate business. So just want to emphasize that, really try to build that personal connection, get to know the person, not just immediately start talking business with them. They're salespeople at the end of the day. They're people typically. So just keep that in mind. And the next is to show your value to them and be creative. In a market like we have right now, just sharing what rates you can get people and things like that really isn't enough. Talking about programs you have available or ways that you've been able to help people get a house in a market like now, just any of that information you can share really helps build that relationship. They hear a lot of the same stuff. So anything that you can do creatively to add value to them, I think is really impactful. The next is if you're reaching out, have a plan. So the realtors we spoke with, they like having those personal connections with loan officers. But if you're reaching out just to say, hey, did you see what happened with the Fed this past week and stuff like that, realtors, especially good realtors, are really in the know on that. So sharing additional information, things outside of that, just have a plan in place when you're approaching them for those conversations, because their time's limited. They want to be out there trying to get new leads. And so just keep that in mind. And then the last is really maintain those relationships. So if you're going out of your way to reach out to a loan officer and you've had a good conversation with them, make sure you're following up. Make sure you're following up not only to ask if they need any help closing a loan for somebody, but seeing how they're doing and just, again, really being a human first. and just maintaining those relationships, even if they're not necessarily bringing you business right away. Cassidy, before we go to the next slide, any questions I should answer for you guys at this point?
Not at this point, but if you're having any problems hearing, go to the GoToWebinar control panel and you'll see the fourth section down where it says audio. Please make sure you're with computer audio or phone call and that no audio isn't selected if you're having any issues. Thank you, Paige.
Of course. Okay, the next is what, if anything, do realtors want when it comes to an open house? So when we first ran one of our webinars earlier this summer, there was just a ton of questions about open houses. I know from speaking with a handful of loan officers pretty regularly that this is something that they like to do. And so we really wanted to get some realtors' insight on what they're looking for, if anything, if you guys do show up to an open house. So the first is, if you're showing up to an open house, make sure you're prepared to discuss what loan programs you have to offer with anybody that might show up, and make sure that you're really able to share that information in a way that a borrower is going to be able to understand. So make sure you're using simple verbiage, make sure you're able to set some clear expectations as to what that process looks like, and just be ready to speak with those people at the open house. So just keep that in mind if you are to show up. The next is any type of buyer or seller's guide you guys can provide. All realtors also said that that was really, really helpful. So anything that you can get is great because it's just a resource, but it's an easy place for you to put your information on there. Maybe you throw that realtor's information on there, just a way to market your guys' to them, and they take it home, they're looking at it, they can give you a call. So it's a great promo option, but also a really helpful tool. And the last is show up with intent of building relationships. So each realtor really mentioned a lot of them don't really do open houses anymore, but when they were, loan officers showing up bringing snacks or helping knock on doors in the neighborhood or helping them set up their signs throughout the neighborhood. All those things just really showed an effort of being there and building that relationship and not just being there strictly for business. So keep that in mind. Open houses are a great opportunity for you to reach out to new realtors that maybe don't have a loan officer that they're referring. So keep that in mind, be really helpful for them. The realtor we had on our webinar last month specifically said the loan officer he works with now had approached him at an open house when he was young. He really gave him a lot of support and a lot of insight into the industry and really helped him grow his business. And so because of that, he's very, very much using this loan officer now that he's built his own business. So just keep that in mind. All those little things that you can do at these open houses can really help build a long-lasting relationship with the realtors. Cassidy, anything before we hop over to the next one?
Not yet. I do see one attendee has their hand raised. I don't know if that's by error, but if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or in the question section.
Okay, awesome. And then I do see one question. We'll be able to get a copy of the presentation. We will be emailing you guys out once we get the list from NAMB, and I always include the presentation and I'll include the recording link. So you guys will have both of those to reference after the call. Okay, the next is what support are realtors looking for when it comes to leads? So you want to make sure you're adding value and make sure that you're helping these people. So the biggest thing is be the lead in answering all questions that they have about the loan process, and make sure that you're getting them timely answers. So especially first-time home buyers, this is a really scary purchase. It's the biggest purchase of their life. And so just making sure that you're answering their questions as soon as possible helps not only you close the deal, but also helps that realtor get that individual in their dream home. So keep that in mind. You're the point of contact. The realtor shouldn't be the one they're asking for the steps of the loan process, what's going to happen next, what documents do they need. Really make sure you're going above and beyond to be that point of contact for that. And that also helps build that relationship with the realtors, because it's showing a lot of value of you to that realtor, because they're not having to waste their time answering those questions and can go out there and try to build more business as well. The next is to reciprocate and help bring them business. So the realtors that we spoke with, they said something as simple as, one new deal a year means a lot to them, just like it would mean a lot to you guys. So any opportunity you have to promote that realtor on a marketing email or social media post, whatever it might be, helps drum up additional business, hopefully for the both of you. And the last is to be on top of what's going on in the industry and be creative to close the deal. So I know we kind of highlighted this earlier, but be in the know, be on top of what you can offer, and make sure if there's something you can do to help that realtor get that borrower in a home, make sure you're reaching out and sharing that information with those borrowers and with those realtors. And then the next is, what are realtors wanting during the loan process? This is a really important one because this is just the easiest place once you've already started to deal with this loan officer to really grow and improve that relationship without a ton of effort. So the first is make sure you're doing timely updates to the borrower that can be easily understood. So just make sure that, if they're sent to processing, give them a brief summary of what that means and what they expect for next steps. If they're approaching close, make sure you're sharing the information that they need to prepare for that closing. All of that will reflect really well on that borrower, which will in turn make the borrower both pleased with the realtor and yourself. So easy way to do this, automate some emails to those people, really grow that relationship. The next is to be available to answer all the questions. So I know I emphasized this on the lead side, but especially throughout that loan process, make sure you're available after hours if that borrower calls you. A lot of people are going to be working all day and they're going to want their updates. So just make sure you're available, make sure you're answering those questions in a timely manner, and try to be ahead of everything. So if they're asking questions, great. But really, if you're doing your job, awesome. Hopefully they're not having many questions, and those that they do have should hopefully be quick to answer. The last is to let them know the bad and communicate that to the borrower. So I had multiple realtors mention that they were sometimes the first person to mention to the borrower that they weren't able to move forward in the loan process and things like that. And sometimes they would end up hearing that from the borrower and not the loan officer. So it's really important you're communicating that with both. Both of them mentioned in those situations, a phone call is the best way to do that. That way, if either has any questions, you can answer them. But just make sure you're communicating the good and the bad and in a very timely manner so that one or the other is not finding out from anybody other than yourself. Cassidy, any questions at this point to answer?
Nothing new that have come in.
Awesome. And then overall, what do we recommend? So I know I shared a lot there, but there's definitely some clear do's and don'ts that we heard. So the first is do attend open houses, but to help. So make sure you're offering value of yourself and really using that as a great time to build relationships with the realtors and any potential borrowers that show up. The best is to build genuine relationships. So the one thing I really like to emphasize with this is don't force a relationship with a realtor. If you feel like you're not really getting along with them or you don't really have much in common, it's a great opportunity to go focus your time, effort, and energy on a realtor that maybe you will be able to have a connection with. The realtors that discuss the partnerships that they've already built, both of them really feel like those people are some of their closest and best friends now because they're constantly talking with them, doing things, and really just building a natural, genuine relationship. The next is to get creative. It isn't an easy market, so whether that's promoting offers you can do on social media and tagging that realtor, or coming to open houses really just to discuss the situations people are in and get used to discussing how you can get them in a home. All of these are really great things to do, but remember, just be creative. Sharing current rates isn't enough. Being able to speak to those rates and how you could still get them in a home versus what they're paying for rent, all those types of things, really helpful. The next is to update the realtors on statuses. So just an emphasis, keep them in the loop, let them know where you're at with throughout the loan process. A couple mentioned whether that's an email or text, that's great, but sometimes, especially with major milestones, the phone call could really go a long way. Giving that live, real-time, exciting update is really great. Or sometimes if there is that bad news, verbally sharing that would go a long way. And the last is to be the point of contact for all borrower questions throughout the loan process. So again, that shows that realtor, you're a great point of contact, you're super informed, and that you're helping those borrowers feel comfortable throughout the process. And then to highlight some of the don'ts is don't reach out without a plan. Don't be a salesperson first, really build those connections. Don't force a relationship. Don't expect referral business. That was one of the biggest things the realtors had highlighted, is once they had done business with somebody, a couple weeks later, their first reach out is, do you have any additional business? They know you're looking for the business. No, they know that. So focus on building a relationship with them. And last, don't assume you are the only LO reaching out. So just keep that in mind. If you're reaching out, don't say the same things you're assuming another LO might be saying. Have something special and make sure you're really generating those real-time relationships with those people. And that's really the gist of the information we heard from the realtors over the last couple of months. Would love to answer any questions you guys have. I kind of took that at a high level of everything that we heard, but I want to make sure we can deep dive into anything that's important to you guys. So happy to answer any questions you have. And then we also can jump into a live demo of our platform and really show you how we can help you build these relationships with tons of automation throughout both the lead and loan process for you guys. So if any questions pop up, Cassidy, let me know, but I'll go ahead and hop over into a Duvo so we can show you guys some of this content that we can automate for you guys and help you grow your business. And then if people hop off not interested in the demo, just wanted to let you know you're able to take advantage of a free 90-day trial of our platform. So if you are interested in that, reach out. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into a Duvo.
And just as a reminder, there are a couple folks with their hands raised, but if you don't mind just putting it into the question box or the chat box, just so we can make sure that we are answering your needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Cassidy. Okay, so we have created a Duvo. It integrates directly with your loan origination platforms. And so the great part about that is we're able to sync all of your data in real time. And with that, we can do tons of automation for you. So whether it's building relationships with borrowers, building relationships with realtors, we can automate some of the basic things you guys are doing manually on your day-to-day that can really go a long way. So the first thing I really like to highlight for everybody is we mentioned a lot specifically those real-time status updates. So it's really important to make sure that you're sending those in real time to those realtors, to those borrowers to help really build that relationship. And this is an easy thing to take off of your plate. So I want to highlight, we do create these and automate these for you. And just as you're doing your day-to-day work, these emails can be triggered. The one thing that I really like to emphasize is we try to make these educational for you guys so that they understand what that milestone means and understand what to expect. So we add great information in the body here. We'll always include your information. This is also a great place to promo that realtor and help build that relationship with them. And then we give a great little summary here of the loan progress bar. So this is really great, especially for those first-time home buyers. It's going to give them an idea of where they're at. It's going to let them know prior they get conditional loan approval, they can reach out to you asking what that means. So it's a great place to get a ton of information. And again, automate this. You guys don't have to think about it, and you're keeping those people up to date and informed on what everything means. We automatically have this going out to the borrower and co-borrower for you guys. So if there is a co-borrower on there, they will receive this message as well. And then we're automating it directly from you. This campaign itself has 21 different milestones. So you can feel free to use them all. You can feel free to choose the ones that you want. And then all of our content is compliant. So we get that checked with compliance specialists to make sure that we're following all the rules and regulations in the industry. And then all of this will be personalized with your information. So we'll have your logo and all of that good stuff. We also have these available in both text form as well. So you can automate these texts to your borrower and co-borrower. They'll receive them of what those milestones are. Typically will include, say, your phone number. So if they've got a question, they can easily reach out to you. So we've got a lot of that available. And then we also have these available to those realtors. So these are a much shorter form, as many of those will have an idea of what that milestone means. But the idea is get it in their inbox or automate that text so that they know where everything's at and they don't have to be reaching out to you every week to get an update on where everything is. So you'll notice here, briefer information about the application completed, short to the point email, provides that information so they can clearly know which borrower you're referring to, and they can easily get on with their day. Another easy touch point that we've created for you guys out of the box is we do create monthly newsletters, and we create these to go to borrowers, leads, and realtors. So just getting another touch in their inbox. We really try to highlight what's going on in that month. So for instance, this October one, we put Halloween crafts, but we also included some information on what's going on in the industry, things they should be preparing if they are going to look to sell their house within the next year. So we try to provide education on top of a little bit more personal, and these are automatically available to you guys every month, another touch in their inbox and something a little unique that other people might not be doing.
And
And then
Paisley, although those are created for them, is there any way that they're able to customize them or give any feedback for the newsletter?
yes, of course. So any of our content you can customize. So if you're looking at the content and you're like, oh, I like these, sorry about that, these 3 points on there, but I'd like to add something extra, you can always come in here and do that. Our builder is really easy to use. And so you can definitely customize any and all of our content.
And that's the perfect opportunity to highlight any of your relationships within your community too, whether it is that realtor, local businesses, to make you the expert.
Yes, agreed. That's a really great point. I've been working with a handful of realtors that really can offer some special stuff and do a lot of outreach in the community. And so what they've liked to do is really highlight that not only on the borrower side, so they've got an idea of maybe some social work they're doing, whatever that might be, but really highlighting with the realtor, hey, I'm out there. Hey, I'm trying to build these relationships. Hey, I'm trying to do good for the city. Let's help do this together. So all of that's really great. And then on top of just the marketing, these kind of special things that maybe other platforms aren't producing for you guys, we do have the basics. So automatic birthday, emails and texts, holiday alerts, and things like that. We have all of that available. And then we also do have a lead nurture campaign. So this campaign, we really try to make that educational as well. So it'll start off with a little intro as to you as a company, and give just a summary of who you are. Reach out to us when you're ready. And then it is a 7-part series that's trickled out for almost 2 months there, and just gives them information, how to prepare for that loan process, what to do and what not to do. Things like buying a car. A lot of people don't think about that being something they shouldn't do, but we just try to share that. And as you'll notice here, we just kind of give a summary of what you can do to pre-qualify, what it means to lock in a rate, and what to do to be prepared for the next steps. So this content's all available, again, completely customizable. The nice part is by simply clicking this button, you'll turn that on. It's connected to your loan origination system. So every single time you get a new lead, that will go ahead and send that initial intro email and all these additional messages from there. So we've got a ton of content that's out there to help you build these relationships. We know how important that is in the current market. And so we wanted to make sure we have any and all of that available to you. And then the platform can do a little bit more. So let me just go ahead and show you guys that real quick. So we do have this dashboard here, which is pulling information based directly on your own loan information. So you'll see some lead stats, you'll see any closing activity, an overview of any active loans that you have, and then any marketing stats for any messages that had gone out for you that week. So this is just a great snapshot of what's going on. And then we have this people and loans section, and these are really customized reporting. We know not all LOSs make that reporting straightforward and easy, so we've added some pre-built content for you, or sorry, lists here for you, and then you can see all contacts. So if I wanted to see my active loans, for instance, could pop up here, take a look at them. Maybe I wanted to give them a phone call. Just got a good amount of information for you here. And then you can also see any additional loans really clearly in this pop out here of any work that you've done with them. This is also a great opportunity. Maybe you're pulling up a realtor and that realtor has been on 4 deals. You'd be able to see that, maybe give them a thank you at the end of the year. So there's a lot you can do on this. And then you can create as many of these views as you'd like. We don't need to be replacing anything you do in your LOS, but I know some of our point users like to use these reports to replace what they might be doing in Point and Point Central. And then any of these lists you can easily refine and send a message, send a campaign. So we try to make everything as straightforward as we can so you're not navigating in multiple spots of the platform to simply get a message out to somebody. So there's tons that you can do in here. There's really great automation. And then again, our intent is really have a kickoff call with us, turn on some messaging, and then move on and grow your business automatically. And then before we wrap things up here, I did want to just emphasize we're offering this platform free to you guys for 90 days. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the chat a link. I'll also provide this in our follow-up email, but if you did want to go ahead and take advantage of that free trial, you can go ahead and do so and just fill out that form. You can also contact us directly. So I'm popping up our contact information here. Feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email, respond to our email when we get that out to you tomorrow. And then you can also go to our website if you're interested in signing up for a demo. It's aduvo.com. Up in this top right corner, you can schedule a demo. And then again, I'll include that demo link on our email that we're sending out to you guys so that you have that available coming up. And then I'll just leave this here on the screen for a bit here just in case anybody needs contact information. But so happy you guys were able to hop on today. We'd love any
And
feedback.
Paisley, we just got a question if there is a discount on the Aduvo price, especially if they're a Focus IT current customer with Calix.
Yeah, so our current offering is the free 90-day trial. If you wanted to reach out to our sales team, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to have that discussion with you. So you can feel free to reach out to us directly and happy to have that conversation with you. And then we can reach out to you directly as well. So if you have a preference one way or the other, just let us know. Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody for hopping on. I hope you have a good rest of your week. And if you guys think of any questions that you've ever thought to ask a realtor, feel free to send those over to us. We'd like to continue asking questions and getting you guys information. So let us know how we can help, and we're happy to be there. Thank you guys so much.